Ah, yes, the W114 Mercedes-Benz. 6 cylinders of handsome, very rusty steel. And you could even say it's somewhat reliable. And most of them are. But when you buy one for $500 and then take it home without actually paying for it, and then actually pay for it in installments of, $250 at a time, you really can't complain when it just kind of breaks eventually. And honestly, it's gotten me, I want to say, 7,000 miles so far without like a major actual leaving me stranded somewhere. And this time it left me stranded 5 miles from home, so it only took my mom like 10 minutes to drive out, pick me up with the truck, and just kind of flat tow me back. But what happened as I was driving along that fateful Friday on my way to work, late as usual, because I work in technology and that's just kind of how we roll, is the car just kind of started misfiring, but harder than usual. I mean, that isn't strange for this car. Winston gets a little grumpy if he doesn't have the right amount of oil, or more than half a tank of fuel, or, if he just feels like it. So I thought, maybe it's just, his day. Gonna have to do an Italian tune-up on him. But the Italian tune-up didn't work. It just kind of died. So I started diagnosing as I'm sitting on the side of the road. And I've rebuilt the carbs myself, so it's very possible that could be an issue, because I don't know how to work on carbs. And when you have 2 carbs instead of 1, and multiply suck by suck, you get super suck, and I figured maybe I just killed it. So, ruling out that, they have worked for a year and a half, so I'm just going to kind of assume they keep working. I know I've got low compression, because it eats oil like insanely, but it's old and it's again, has worked for a year and a half, so I don't think the compression's actually bad enough yet to keep it from running or starting. I've worked on the fuel system extensively. No, not extensively, that's a lie. Basically, I actually just dropped the strainer in the back and then kind of cut a hole in it because I was sick of using the strainer and I already have this other fuel filter in line, so I'm not worried about it. But mechanical fuel pumps, such as the one on this vehicle, are usually either going to work or not work. There's usually not a whole lot in between, so I kind of ruled that out as well. So that left me with spark. I've replaced all of the plugs, which I have to do at about every, maybe 2,500 to 3,000 miles if I'm lucky, seeing as it eats so much oil and it also runs lean, so the plugs go to crap pretty quickly. Well, I should say, the plugs in 3, 4, and 5 go to crap pretty quickly. Usually 1 and 2 are reusable and 3 is salvageable. So, anyway, but I just recently replaced those maybe 500 miles ago, so I was pretty sure that wasn't it. The plug wires are also relatively new, so I wasn't too worried about those. But I did decide to pull this wire off because it was the most accessible and easy thing to do at the time, and I found out that on the coil side, it got pretty toasty, to the point where it actually burned through in one point. So I picked another one up at Weaver's, because they're like $3.50, and threw it on, and then cranked it over, and the damn thing still wouldn't start. So what I did was I threw on this lovely guy here, which is our timing light. And if you don't know, usually you just use a timing light on probably cylinder 1, I think. I don't remember when we did this, if we used the first cylinder or if we did use the coil. I feel like you'd probably want to use your first cylinder to figure out what your timing is and advance it and retard it and do what you need to do to make your car run right, which I should actually probably redo since I retuned the carbs after I refigured out my fuel system, whatever. Anyway, I should probably look at that. But the point is, I wanted to make sure I was getting spark out of my coil. So I hooked it up, cranked the car over a couple times with the timing light, and I'll see if I can make this work because usually it's a 2-person job. Ooh. Let's see. Aha! Oh yeah, I'll get it. Okay, and this is what I saw. Not a whole lot going on there. As in, nothing. Every once in a while, if you're lucky, you will catch a spark. But I'm willing to bet that my coil's dead. Or, oh yeah, there you go. So, after my extensive and very professional troubleshooting session, I managed to find out that I'm going to need a new coil. Or, since this car was also switched to electronic ignition, I might need to replace that. I haven't narrowed down if it's the coil itself or the electronic ignition, but I'm willing to bet it's the coil. Why? I don't know. I like throwing money at things. So I'm probably going to replace that first. And also it's cheaper than the electronic ignition, so try the cheapest thing first. That's kind of my mantra. Usually. Most of the time. Alright. Let's go ahead and give this a try. Aha. Well, that's a good sign. It started and it's firing. Still runs like shit, but that's because it ran like shit before it died, so hooray! Okay, I'm gonna let it idle for a bit, charge the battery so I can not have to use my jump pack every time, and then I'm gonna recharge my jump pack because I know I'll kill it again by leaving the lights on or something stupid anyway, so that's why I originally bought it, because I definitely left the lights on at work the entire day, and it was embarrassing because I had to ask for somebody to help me out. I don't know what that is, but it's pretty crazy how much better the car runs now with a new coil. So I'm starting to suspect that maybe that coil's been bad for a while. I've only driven the car a little over 7,000 miles now, and it's kind of had intermittent issues, you know, on and off, been kind of grumbly with me, so I'm wondering if the coil just hasn't been bad for quite some time. Anyway, I am going to take it out around the country block and make sure it actually works.